Okay, I wanted to try a test. Let me pull the camera back. Wanted to try the normal 48:1 gear ratio TT motor, the easy one to find inside the W.I.K.I project. And what I found was that on 3 volts, the motor was struggling by the time you get, the full weight of the body and the batteries and everything on board. It would walk. Very quickly the upper step happened, and then when it was time for it to lift the body, that would slow way down where it's going, and then quick, and then quick. So I was having a rough time with this one. So I guess if you're going to use this, you may need to mod the inside of this so that you can fit a 3 AAA battery setup in there. I have it running on 2, and I thickened the walls up for some screws that I was putting in. And I don't think you can get a 3 in there right now, but you could hollow it out some. I've done that in the past. So this one has the blue motor back in it, which is a dual shaft all metal gear TT motor. And I just looked online today, and it's different every day, every week. It's really hard to find them right now. I did find a couple of places, and they were much higher than they have been in the past, $5-6 a piece. So I didn't buy any right now because I know next week when I check, there'll probably be places again that have where you can get 10 of them for $20 or 5 of them for 15 or something like that. I'll wait and I'll get more then. I had one left. It's in here now. So the other thing I wanted to try on this robot was to change the slide switch to a 3-position switch. So right now you can see it's in the center. That way I could make it walk forward or backward. Because the little slide switches that I like to use, they are double pull, double throw already, but they're just 2-position, so you use them as on-off. This is basically the same switch, but it has 3 positions where center is off, and then you can go left or right of center and go in either way. So you can have it walk forward if you want, or you can click the switch all the other way and you can have it walk backward. Now the only tricky thing you have to do is if you want the LED on top, since it pulls its power off the same 3 volts it's going to the motor, you could wire it very simply with just a resistor so it only flashes when it walks forward, and when it walks backward it won't. You don't have to add anything extra. But if you want that red LED to flash in both the forward, like I had it here, that's forward, and then that's backward, and you want to work in both modes, then you're going to basically have to form a diode bridge in there, which you can always look up online if you're not sure what that is. But I wanted to, I used individual discrete diodes, and I used Schottky diodes instead of silicone. You see, a silicone diode is going to have about a 0.7 volt drop going through it when it's conducting current, whereas a Schottky diode looks just like it, but it only has a 0.3 volt drop. And because the voltage is going to have to pass through 2 diodes, no matter which direction, the power is going to go through the 2 of the 4 diodes that you're putting in there to make the LED work. That means I'm going to lose 0.6 of a volt, and I've only got 3 volts to start with. I need 2 volts minimum to keep the flashing LED working, so kind of gets you down to about a 0.4 volt overhead, not a whole lot. But that's what I wanted to try, so that's what I put in there. The other thing I wanted to talk about, in case any of you guys decide to build one of these, is the length on this front screw. You don't want a screw that's too long because that switch is mounted right behind where that screw's going in. So if you get anything that's much longer than that, the end of it's probably going to go in and push against that switch, and you could possibly damage the switch when you're putting the screw in without thinking about it. Now the one back here doesn't matter. It can be as long as you want. These are 3mm screws. But I wanted to show the tricky part about putting the body on and off, because see how easy it seemed to have come off. Because this part sticks out, and because the motor sticks back, you have to start by getting that underneath the motor as you're bringing this forward. Then the next thing you're going to fight is the fact that this slot opening is just the same width as these gears, but you've got this part of the leg that bolts on. So you have to either horseshoe that side in first to get it in, and then it'll slide right up in there, or you're going to sit there and fight with it. Because it may not be this side. Depends where the leg stops. It might be this side that you're going to tweak in there. Anyway, what I guess I'm saying is just look at what you're doing when you're doing it. And, oh, before we put the body on, the batteries. I put them in, I slide them in upside down. I have the full length of the battery cable like that, and I turn them upside down like that. Because if you put them, I mean, I think it would work this way, but then that wire is going to get pushed right up against the back of the switch, and you're going to lose height. Whereas when it comes out the top, it doesn't touch the switch. It's going straight up, and there's plenty of room for it. And so put it in upside down. It'll leave enough room for this piece that goes in here and screws. It'll clear the switch in the front. Now when you, if you do the center off position one, that adds a bunch of ugliness there, as you can see. But basically, on a double pull, double throw slide switch, you bridge one far end to the opposite far end, and do that on both sides. And then the two center lugs, you can bring your battery contacts in on those, and just pull two motor wires off, two of the lugs in one end. That'll reverse the power. And here's where I built the discrete diode bridge, so I could make sure that I always got the correct polarity power to the flashing LED, no matter which way the power was, no matter which way it was running. We got that. The LED should center up. It did. Well, we just put the old, well, I won't bother to screw it together because I'll be taking the batteries out of this before I put it away. But then you just screw it together and you're done. So the main point of this video is to say this will work, but it'll kind of wonky because it'll strain. And the blue one with the 190 or 90 to 1 gear ratio is a better choice because it has more power and the walking speed is more consistent. I wanted to point out that you could go in there with a double pull, double throw center off slide switch to get a forward and reverse. And there you have it. I'll put a link to the first video, which has links to the STL files on Thingiverse and talks a little bit about the build as well.